sorry, I'm not. God, blimey. You've been at it before I've even got into the body of the kirk for this evening's summons. How very dare you? Collar's on. I've had a small libation known as the sermon wine. Oh, I've had a small glass, as they say. But now I'm hibiscus all the way. Let's have a... Just give me a chance to have a small mouthful, as the figure said to the choir boy. Oh, I say, perfection. So, good evening and welcome to the body of the cook. If you're in and in the pews, please budge up because there's quite a few coming in this evening, so to speak. No, I'm not going to do it funny. Just allow others in the congregation, in the body of the kirk, just let them sit down and enjoy the sermon on a Sunday evening. Well, what can I say? Let's have a look at some of the comments. Andrew James, did yesterday was National Organ Day. Well, I did get mine out and give it a bit of a tinkle. Fingers were working well, although a little arthritic, but every now and again it's good to get one's organ out. In private, I find, with my headphones on, so nobody can disturb me. And I just enjoy going up and down and up and down and up and down the keyboard. Thank you, Andrew. And he says, very apt that you went to a wedding. Oh, I say, Andrew. Oh, I say. Did I say that? Yes, I did go to a wedding. I wanted to start this evening's live with congratulating Michael and Krishma. Great day. Bizarrely, I was the master of ceremonies. I know. Who would have thought? So it was just a joy and an honour to be able to do that for them. It's so fantastic to see young people nowadays getting married. It's wonderful. So the family had a great time. Oh, God blimey. There was loads of alcohol. Loads. Did I take advantage? Oh, most certainly. And the grog. You tart. Andrew James, yesterday was record. Andrew, I'll play with my organ till the cows come home. And we were staying on a farm yesterday. So the cows did come home. What that means, I have no idea. Any depth to it? Oh, I say. Hang on. Who's that? There's just so many comments. But please, more the merrier. The more the merrier. Because we do get to them, and me and the team have a quick once over, and then we read the comments. Oh, Adrian, double entendre. Is that first? And there was me thinking innuendo was an Italian suppository. Let's go for Andrew James. He said yesterday was record store day. Did you get the glow of In the Dark John Lennon record AA? Oh, I say, was there? Hang on. John Lennon. Hang on, I'll go there. Yeah. John Lennon. That's me John Lennon record, man. And do you know, every time I do something regarding Abbey Road and John Lennon and stuff, I never have anything to hand. I'm not clapping one-handed before you start, but thank you, Andrew. No, I didn't. I was otherwise engaged, being master of ceremonies and double entendre at the wedding. Nuts and bolts. Adrian, I can imagine what the bride was thinking. Aisle, altar, very good. Hymn, H-Y-M. Aisle, altar, hymn. Well, yesterday I was a cure for constipation. Because I said to the organisers, oh, don't give me a microphone. No, I'll just, I'll project, darling, being a thespianal. And they went, are you an actor? I said, no, but I can try to be one. I shall project. And literally, people were, when I went for it, they said, well, were you a beef eater once? I said, well, today I think we're having lamb, but I'm happy to have beef if you want. Poor gag, Adrian, poor gag. And so I was just loud, and those that were nearest to me, I had to say to the new Mrs. Allen, you need to step away a few paces now. She said, what, are you smelling again? Have you just dropped one? I went, no. It's not my aftershave either. And I said, no, just you'll find out in a second, because I speak normally when I'm with people and friends, I speak so softly. I don't need a project or anything. And then I went for it. I saw the look on her face. She's thinking, where did that come from? What's 7 years and she's never heard me scream much. Oh, did you see my lips move? Rather. So next live. Let me have a look. Oh, I say, plenty in this evening. Plenty in the tank. 134, you're utter wrong-uns. Smash the likes, man, because seemingly the more likes it gets, no likey, no algorithm, says a spokesperson once. So please, if you could smash the likes while you're here, it helps the choir boys. It gives them a bit of a lift whilst they're running down the pews, making sure that the collection plates are in place so that, you can give them 50p each. Hey, Reverend Allen, what do the choir boys get for 50p? If you know the gag, brilliant. If you don't, not here. It's a family show. Yeah, utter wrong. To Vivian Kenyon. Oh, we appreciate you thinking about your pupils in the pews. I saw some very dilated pupils in the pews yesterday at that wedding. Evening, Adrian. Evening, you wrong'un. Viv and Darlow. Evening, Viv. Have we done nuts and bolts? We've done Andrew James. Maybe a couple more because there's loads, I tell thee, loads. Because I've got loads to talk about. So basically this evening I'm going to right some wrongs. I am an iconoclast this evening, so just going to tell it like it is. And before we get into things, and normally it takes people about 20 minutes to get into the body of the kirk and budge up in their pews and get their donations out for the church. Because, it takes an awful lot to keep these choir boys going. What can I say? I want to tell you that if you haven't already, please check out Billboard Chris. We had a premiere go live at 2 o'clock this afternoon. An interview with him around the trans agenda, and Chris is just a magnificent man. He tells it like it is, and it's full of facts and figures and stuff where it's just quite iconoclastic, just saying, look, here's the truth around the trans agenda. And as I say in the interview, I did say to him, there is transgender, transvestite, and I asked Chris about I asked him about the vocabulary, and sorry, I was thinking just something else because I saw something else and it slowed me down. I do understand that slower is better from what I've been told. So I asked Chris, is it around the vocabulary? Because it's been shortened. So nobody actually knows it's a trans what that we are debating. And I would love you to go and see it and watch it because it's a very, very interesting interview. It's only half an hour or so I won't take too much of your time up. But what Billboard Chris is doing, and by the way, it's billboardchris.com or Billboard Chris at X, because some of the stuff that he's broadcasting a lot of news channels around the world. He's been here to the UK, but it's mostly Canada, where he's very well known, and Australia, where he's dealing with some things. But go and check him out, the interview. I'm very proud of it. And we will be doing more interviews on this channel, as well as the regular videos and the regular lives every Wednesday and Sunday. So thank you for being here this evening. Next live, it's going to be Wednesday. Or is it? We have a very special day coming on Tuesday. What can I say? St. George's Day on Tuesday. So we're just altering or getting the final bits and pieces together for me being in London, sorting the logistics out. So who knows where I'll be in London for St. George's Day, but I do. Well, we'll talk about it in just a little while. Congratulations to anybody who ran the London Marathon this morning, you natter. You utter wrong. I mean, imagine 20 odd miles. I've done the Great North Run quite a few times. First time was in 1983, and seemingly I've got a number for this September. I haven't done any trading yet. Heart attack. Hang on. Napoleon blown apart. Arrested on Tuesday, Adrian. There's every chance of them in the right place. Oh, can you imagine? Hello, darling, the new Mrs. Allen. Maybe home late for dinner this evening. What you done? Well, I was just minding my own business, and then all of a sudden, one of the boys in blue went, "Oi, Alan, you're arrested." Face for radio. Oh, is that the policeman's radio? No, just generally. You look like a wrong'un, so we're going to arrest you for being a wrong'un. Can you imagine a copper telling me, "Utter wrong'un"? So, I don't know. Look, I'll be very happy if we get any kind of celebration. So what am I going to do? So Tuesday, full English for breakfast. Built for power, not for speed. And then lunchtime, I'm going to have a bit of a ploughman's. And then in the evening, I'm going to have a roast buff dinner, like any good Englishman. And I'll probably have some warm beer. But it is St. George's Day on Tuesday, and we can celebrate however we see fit, darling. So anybody that's doubting this, and we don't mind Paddy's Day, and we don't mind St. Andrews, and the Welsh, we really don't mind. Celebrate. But we are going to get to this. Esther McVeigh, both of her. She's come out today, not out, just out, and she's come out and said, "Oh yes, we should be celebrating. Brilliant, warm beer for everyone. Scrumpy, anyone? Do you want some altar wine or scrumpy, Reverend Allen?" "I'll have both if you don't mind." "I do like getting squiffy on the odd occasion, so if you get a news report at 6 o'clock in the evening, some complete utter wrong'un just sitting there smiling at passers-by, you know that I've been on the altar wine." Do love a bit of scrumpy though, do I? So here, let me tell you something. Hang on, Andrew James, tell the truth. You first did Great North Run when you were a teen, when some girl's father saw you. There is an element of that, Andrew James and Tarblock Tracy. Great North Run, you'll meet my sister-in-law's, Fanny Barks. I hope she doesn't. She'll get arrested for that. And oh, let's have a bit of fun this evening. So long as we can't get arrested for it, obviously. To the old Bovril. Adrian, got arrested, found in possession of Battenberg cake. Oh, what can I say? Oh, they'll have nicked that off you, the Rozzers. Because, they don't get fed that well. And anyone walking around with a little Battenberg will be like, arrested for carrying an offensive weapon. Do you know what we do with Battenberg? We eat it. We know you do. Honestly, I can't go anywhere. I will get arrested if I go any further. What can I say? Anyone for a hotel room in Gateshead? If any of my old BBC colleagues have just heard me say that, they've probably just burst their incontinence pants. So I wanted to say, front page of the Mail on Sunday today. What were they thinking? So there's one of the hairy bikers who sadly died from cancer. So what they done? Front page of the Mail on Sunday. Healthy, hairy bikers, healthy recipe. Really? I would have... Well, somebody's obviously got to make a few bob, or 10, or hundreds, or thousands, millions. Somebody's got to make it. But please, healthy recipes. Didn't help one of the hairy bikers, did it? You catching me drift? Now, who would you say is that? I don't know why I'm putting that cup over there. It's miles away. Neil Cunningham, hey, I'm putting together a show to mark what would have been Radio City's 50th birthday in October. Would you be up for being interviewed for it? Yeah, of course, Neil. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't there long, but I was there long enough. Had the best time on Stanley Street. So, yes, if you just want a quick, quick quote or something, happy to do that for you now. Who's the biggest caring, understanding 90s type of the last 4 years? Who would you say? I mean, you can say in the comments if you want, but I'm gonna suggest to you one name: the biggest caring, understanding 90s type of the last 4 years. And I just know he's hated the country over. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? It's terrible actress, he says. It's either Whitty or Hancock. Talking about my organ again. Organ. No. Although there was something in the papers today about Sadiq. Was it the Sun on Sunday? Anyway, I'll get it and I'll do something about it tomorrow. No, we're talking Matt Hancock. That caring, understanding 90s type. Do you know he's dyslexic? No cure for that. So, is he still an MP? Or is he just a caring, understanding 90s type? So, seemingly, he was very good at maths. Adding up and stuff at Oxford University. And he went to Oxford Uni thanks to his ability in mathematics. Well, this week, I thought he'd gone as an MP, but maybe he's going at the general election, whenever that's going to be, at some time in 2024, might even be 2025. You know what rich boy is like. So this week, he's going to present legislation to help pupils with dyslexia and ADHD. And then I thought, hang on a second. Who really famous individual has had the most road to Damascus recovery? And I would suggest not Matt Hancock, because he's never going to recover his reputation ever, because people died on his watch. And I would suggest because of some of his actions. Oh, shall we unleash a new variant on them? Can I ask you a question? A rather valid question. What happened to all of these, well, virulent, deadly variants? I'll give you a couple of hours, because I couldn't think of them either. Because I'm just wondering, where have they gone? We were told deadly variants on the way, and there wasn't. And it never materialised. Matt Hancock, caring, understanding 90s type. So I was thinking about, his dyslexia, and that's not something to take the mickey out of. But this neurodivergence, should we talk about that? We'll get to that, because there's only, I don't know if Matt Hancock has cured his dyslexia, but can you remember, anybody called Ernest is a bit of a wrong un. Can you remember Ernest Saunders? Not Ernie, the fastest milk cart in the West. If you're old enough, if you're young enough, you'll go, Adrian, has that altar wine kicked in? I think you might be talking complete and utter tosh. No, Ernie was the fastest milk cart in the West. And Ernest Saunders, whoa, what a boy! What a boy! He was part of the, one of 25% of the Guinness 4. And seemingly, he was jailed for manipulating the Guinness shares, or the value of the Guinness shares. Those boys in the city, they don't like it up them, unless they're paying good money for it and use loads of lube. They don't like it up them. And Crisco fat, seemingly, in one of the, Corey Haim said, who was it? Another star who shall remain nameless for the moment. He bent me over and used Crisco fat. Who I say. So, Ernest Saunders, let me tell you the story. If you don't know the story, it's fantastic. And, oh yes, Ernie was one of the balls tier, I say, was one of the balls in the machine for the National Lottery. Ernie. And then there's Ernie, the fastest milk cart in the West. And then there's Ernest Saunders. Oh, my piles are kicking in again. Oh, uncomfortable. So Ernest Saunders, he got jailed. And seemingly after 10 months, he cured his Alzheimer's. He's the only man ever in the history of humankind to cure his Alzheimer's. He was sent down for 5 years. Only did 10 months. Oh, I'm struggling. Oh, yeah, my Alzheimer's. Yeah, what'd you say you then was, Judge? Yeah, I can't, no. And they went, oh, I say, well, if you've got Alzheimer's, then you can, we'll release you early. And then all of a sudden, he's outside. I'm cured. I don't know whether you can remember the story. I do. 10 months after a 5-year sentence for fraud, released after it was believed he was suffering from Alzheimer's. Miracle cure. So you see, if you've got enough wealth, and he went on, I think he's still alive. He must be nearly God's age. But he's been on the speaking circuit, made a few bob. So I was just thinking about Mad Hancock. Why would he be kind of going on about neurodivergence and ADHD and dyslexia? Is there any money in it for him? Call me a cynical old tart if you want. But young Matt, is he making a few bob? Hang on, who said that? Louise Hampson, my butt. Oh, sorry, Louise. Frank Boff paid good money for that. Or are you saying, my hairy backside? As in, incredulity with... do you know, I've suddenly lost the use of my tongue and my brain in tandem. Jesus. I am losing it. I can't even say... Can't hear it in my head, so I can't say it. Jeez, I'm losing it. Should I go and have a lie down? Anyway, there's bound to be some money in it, some coin. So that's why he's in it. Tonight, we're going to talk about... I'm a little late with this, do apologise. Welcome to everyone in the Kirk. If you're struggling to get in, it's because it's rather busy and a lot of people like coming on a Sunday to the Kirk, the body of the Kirk, and sitting with all the friends. And if you're a newbie, if you've come on to the... if you've come into the body of the Kirk this evening and you've never been before, or you've never commented before, let me know and I'll give you a shout out. As some DJ once said on a radio station. Jim Atkinson, what you up to? You're wrong. Lauren Taylor, Tony Blair is whittling on about politics being for the weird and wealthy. Oh, how we laughed. Thank you, Lauren. I'm going to talk about another Lauren in a second. Tony Blair. War criminal Blair. Or Charles Linton, who was caught doing stuff with men and got arrested. It's on a video somewhere on here. I've done loads of them. Come on, you virgins, get typing. Yes, quite. So tonight we're going to talk about Taylor, me ears are bleeding, Swift. We're going to talk about child smacking. I've got a couple of comments to use. We're going to talk about the royals. Have you seen how fat Prince Andrew's getting? Does somebody want to tell him? Oi, Andy, mate, roly-poly, stop that. Stop eating. We'll talk about Billboard Chris Moore through the whole live tonight. We'll talk about Benjamin Netanyahu, the most evil man on the planet. We'll talk about James Whale, who received his MBE this week at the Palace. Oh, was it Windsor? No, I apologise. It was at Windsor. And what's the weirdest name? I have some questions this evening. We'll do those again. But what's the weird... I'm going to talk about a weird name. Who's that? Max Star. Welcome to the body of the Kirk, and I completely agree. That's why he doesn't sweat much for a fat lad. Max Star says he's off the cokey. Obviously that libation that comes in small cans. So we're going to talk about some Hollywood star. We'll get into the story later. But this Hollywood star's named their daughter twin. So they've got twins. And one's called Ohm. Now I'm thinking, Ohm. That's the power to my headphones. Ohmage. Ampage. And then I thought, what's the weirdest child name like a celebrity's ever given? Wasn't it Frank Zappa that named his child Moon Unit? Norville's a good name. Yeah, I agree with that. Is that Norman Norville? No, yeah, Chase Me. Norville's a good name. So we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about tonight's important questions. But let's get into... Please, tell me if I'm old-fashioned. Unless it's Duncan, of course. Rich, exactly. Roland Bolin or Zowie Bowie. Oh, they're good ones. Yeah, I remember those. Roland Boland. But did they change their names? There was Zach Starkey, Richard Starkey, and was that not you can buy a candle where you can smell a chuff. She named her daughter Apple, didn't she? Was it after the Beatles record label, I wonder? Elon Musk's son. Now, he's going to take a fair bit of beating. Was it A24 or something? Well, this Hollywood star, quite a big Hollywood star, has got twins. And she says, I've had enough. I'm off ski. I'm going to Foxtrot Oscar, and I'm going to look after me twins, one of which is called OHM. And you just think, hey, hang on a minute. Let's get into odd people. And I'm going to name her simply because, have you heard of this creature called Lauren Goodman? She's on the front page of The Sun this morning. And I'm a little old-fashioned. I come from where manners maketh man. I come from a place where we talk about courting, which I know is a very quaint word. But have you seen the dating malarkey that the kids are doing today? It's like, we're talking. What does that mean? Well, we're talking. What does that mean? Well, we're talking. So what are you not, tripping the light fantastic? No, we haven't got to that stage yet. We're just talking. It's a thing. Talking. I'm thinking, maybe they just use their phones, and it's like, or maybe they just use their personality as contraception, which is why they just talk before they get anywhere near. And they're more interested in recreational gear than, up and down ski. Did I? Yeah, I did. So Lauren Goodman has got a couple of kids. She's, I don't know, it's one of these, and I just sound like my granddad now. Honestly, I was proper, just looking, who was looking? Rusty Mouse, what are you up to, you're on? It was just one of those, my granddad used to go, I've told you the story before, when he saw Boy George for the first time on Top of the Pops, he went, holy foxtrot, what's that? I said, Boy George, Granddad. No, it's not, it's a girl. I said, no, it's Boy George. He said, he's not a boy, he's a girl. Look at the makeup on him, look at the slap on his face. And I said, Granddad, sit down, calm down. That's Boy George. He's, culture club. It's the in thing. Oh, I don't like the in things. I prefer it out and then in, and then out and then in thing. So I said, Granddad, no, concentrate. And my granddad was like, no, I don't understand it. I've fought in the wars, man. I don't understand it. I worked down the pits. No, I didn't understand it. So, but then I've morphed into my granddad. I've morphed into my dad. Because my dad will go, he was a rock and roller. And you are like supposed to turn into one of your parents. I'm not turning into my mother. My boobs are not big enough, so I'll turn into my dad. So, if the ladies of the parish, you look at their mother and you see what you're going to get in 50 years. There's a gag there. I'll leave you to it. Because I'm respectful. Ryan what? Ryan Capewell. Not all superheroes wear a cape, Ryan. So I'm looking at this celebrity thing, and the story is that female has a dance with a Premiership footballer. And he's knocked a couple of kids out with her. Now, I don't know whether... So you can say to someone, so, Lauren, what attracted you to multi-millionaire Premiership football star Kyle Walker? Yeah, no, it's an old line. But then she has 2 kids by him. And you think, do you not know he's married? And you think, are there no manners? Are there no principles? Are the kids just running feral? Rich, you're there before me. Let me have that as the payoff, you're wrong. So, I read in the front of the Sun today, Sunday Sun, that this Lauren Goodman wants to take her 2 kids, 2, Adrian salute, to be with Kyle Walker at the Euros, while his wife and 4 kids, it's not 4 candles, 4 kids, are at the Euros. And Nicholas, you're making me laugh, you're wrong, and stop it. Wrong, I want to concentrate. So, woman meets married man. Which part of married man does she not understand? A, married man should keep his pecker in his trousers. B, woman shouldn't dance with a married man. I've told you before, I've had kind of, when I was somewhere, I shan't identify them, but, you know, part of the extended family was dancing with Olympian, with somebody else, and he came to me and he said, "Oh, what should I do? What should I do?" And he was looking for a pat on the back from me, and I said to him, "You can put your pecker back in your trousers and get yourself back to your wife and your kids." "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "Well, what, am I talking Swahili here? Just get it back in your pants and get back to your wife." So he gets a bit obstreperous, and I tell him it like it is. And, you know, a few months later, he said to me, "You were the one that saved my marriage," because everybody else was patting me on the back going, "Oh, brilliant. Yeah, a bit of a stunner. Yeah, brilliant." When I'm not going to give you too much detail because it's just unglant. But which part of the guy's married? I don't know whether he wears a wedding ring or, you know, do you kind of go up to them and go, "Oh, hello, multimillionaire. Fancy a quickie?" Well, he's had at least 2 with her, because he's got 2 kids by her. I mean, he's now got 6. He only needs another 5, and he's got the full footy team. But it's, "Oh, I'm going to go to the Euros, and well, I'm going to go to the Euros." So, what do you think she's after? Is it just the publicity, keeping her name in the press? Is she after a bit of fame, bit of publicity, the odd shekel, or what is she after? Now, remember David Beckham, because we are going to mention David Beckham. It's Posh's 50th this week. And it's been every day. Just shite, basically. But we are going to mention David Beckham for an obvious reason once you hear me what I say. But it's the married man thing. What are women thinking? So, you know, in the modern parlance, in the modern language, they talk about high value. Well, all right, Premiership football player earning a few bob or 10, and is it this illusion that, "Oh, I'm better looking, I'm better in the sack. I've won sack races before at the children's school, so I'm brilliant in the sack," so to speak. And what is it? Is it just fame? Is it just publicity? Or is it the money? So I'm going to ask you, in one word, describe this Lauren Goodman. This creature that seemingly the mainstream media accept as someone that just does the light fandango with a multimillionaire who evidently doesn't care and knocked a couple of kids out. Very good. Rich. Tart. GB Patriot. Slapper. The old Bovril. In it for the money. No, that's 3 words. The old Bovril. To Neil Cunningham. Slapper. Mick Rush. And takes home the boot bag. Was it boot bag? Yeah. Yeah, we pretty much get... Oh, malevolent. Oh, I say. Rather large word. Brilliant. Rexanne, obviously, theatre of the mind virgin, so please budge up in the pews. Make sure you're in the body of the kirk for the sermon, and because we're in full flow. Roy Gordon, honeypot. Get it. Now, is it costing him money? Because, you know, if it was Fred the chippy, as in works with wood, Fred the chippy, if he was, you know, sawing away, as you do, and suddenly he's 2 kids up, does he turn around and go, I've got any money? I've gotten out. Can't have anything. Gotten out. And he what? Infamous. Got that one as well. Brilliant. So if it was Fred, the local chippy, who earned, you know, a nice amount of money, would he be available for creatures like the one we're discussing? Oh, Mac, Slattern. Nicholas, can get a self-indulgent happy birthday. I'm 54 years old. Oh, Nicholas, happy birthday. 54, 9 year. Very important, very big, very good. Happy birthday, Nicholas, and welcome for this evening's Simon. And if any of the regulars know Nicholas, wish him a happy birthday. Bless him. Doesn't get out much nowadays. That's why he's listening to the Theatre of the Mind on a Sunday and a Wednesday. Happy birthday, Nicholas. I'm only teasing. So, yes, one word. Lauren Goodman. Let's talk about Bibi. We'll flip-flop. We'll go hard and then soft, hard and then soft, hard and then soft. Dear Lord, Adrian. So, we will, let me opine. My take is that Bibi Netanyahu is, and I'm going to lose some friends over this, is the most evil man on planet Earth. Because we all know that young Bibi Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel, the war leader, was, when he went in for his hernia operation, the Israelis went, brilliant! Let's get him out. And Bibi was like, no. I'm the war prime minister. I'm back in charge. Thank you very much. Off you go. And now they're having this spat with Iran. Now, let's go deep into this particular rabbit warren. Let me tell you that it has been known for the last 20 years that there were 5 or 6 countries left that weren't operated as central banks, one conglomerate central bank. And those countries are China, Russia, Venezuela, Hungary, Iran, and Syria. Now, Syria they've kind of got, so it's a halfway house with Syria. They bombed the feck out of it. So they need to do something with Iran, because Iran's quite a big country. So relatively, Egypt's got about 10 million citizens in its country. Iran, 90 million. So they're not mucking about. But to get to Israel, Iran's got to go through Iraq. Oh, yes, North Korea. I do apologise. Thank you for that. Who was that? Thank you, Chris. So they're all the countries. So North Korea, Venezuela, Hungary, Iran, China, and Russia. So there's 6 or 7. And it's all about the central banks. Now, I've been talking about this since the 90s on the radio and just saying, look, you need to look out for this. And all of a sudden, they're bombing the feck out of Iran. And Israel has what they call the Samson option. Now, Israel bombed Iran overnight. And that's not very clever at all. And are we waiting for Iran's fight back? Are we waiting? Are they? When the world is turning around and saying, no, lads, no, you can't do that, man. I mean, Bibi wanted $110 billion from the Americans. $110 billion. And the Americans went, all right then, what are we going to get back? So it's a loan, Bibi, it's a loan. 110 billion, yeah, can I have all them planes and all them fighter jets and all them mines and it's like going into a sweet shop, I've got 110 billion, lads, let's just siphon off some off the top and then it's war. So but it's got to go to American companies. So America, 60% of their GDP, arms or armaments related. So the economy, oh, fantastic. Cheers, Bibby. And now he turned around after Iran bombed them and just collected the data around how they could beat the Iron Dome. And David Cameron went, Bibby, man, don't do anything. Don't do anything. And Bibby's like, here, David, Foxtrot Oscar, mate. We'll decide what we're going to do when we're going to do it. So just leave it to us. And then they did this little thing, size queen, little thing, where they just sort of hit one of Iran's military targets, as in it was Israel's target, it was Iran's military. And I just thought, well, are Iran now going to turn around and go, oi, Bibi Netanyahu, you're having a go at us? Now, think carefully, because we'll just lob a few things over, but similarly the missiles that Bibi Netanyahu sent over, they can have nuclear warheads. So there is an implication there that if you don't stop this, we're going to start lobbing the Samson protocol or the Samson option, whichever way you want to term it. Neil Cunningham, you're wrong. Is that tips on how to murder your wife, or is that the Samson option? I'm not strong enough. I'm not strong enough, Neil. So Bibby is at it. And now we hear this weekend that the Americans have gone, hang on, lads. How much does Ukraine need? About 50 billion pounds. Right. Right. Let's give one of the most corrupt countries in Europe, let alone planet Earth, let's give them another 50 billion, shall we? And Volodymyr Zelensky is like, oh, nice one, lads. Thanks very much. Need that. What do you mean? It's a loan. Do we have to pay this back? Oh, yes. So, hang on, how do we do that then? Well, you buy the arms and the armaments, and then we just take the money from you, give it to the American firms like Lockheed Martin and all those that produce the ordnance. That's not a map, by the way. And Bibi Netanyahu stays the war prime minister at all costs. Because if it's de-escalated, this whole Middle Eastern war, then Bibi loses the war premiership and then has to face the wrath of the Israeli people. And all he's doing is going like, right, you wrong uns. I'm telling you, I'm in charge. And when I'm in charge, because I'm a war prime minister, when he's certainly not Churchill, but I'm a war prime minister, and that's it, just leave it with me for the next 10 years. So the longer he stays as a war prime minister, the better it is for him. And how's he going to do that? Start lobbing stuff at the Iranians. We know that the American military-industrial complex wants a forever war. At it forever. So is that going to happen? Wow. Bibi Netanyahu, in my very humble opinion, one of the most evil men on planet Earth. Samson option, when they're going to kick that in? Who knows? Just a quick comment about Angela Rayner. 2 ohms. It's unlike the Labour Party to have 2 of anything, if you know what I mean. So, 2 Jags, 2 ohms, and all the paperwork's coming out now. Angela, in the words of the great Chinese philosopher, Foxtrot Oscar, mate. You're at it. But is she going to just hang on? I mean, if you look at Ed Miliband was in the paper today, and the paper nicked my line. And my line was for Ed Davey, on me Ed Davey. And they've used it on Ed Miliband, on me Ed. Thieving bastards. The old Bovril, it only gets dangerous once the Israelis start chucking the bagels. Oh, there was a bagel house in London that's fabulous. Love a bagel. Kills me, but love a bagel. Can I talk about, very quickly, James Whale? Because I'm going to talk about St. George's Day next. But, like, Nigel Farage, no wonder he doesn't want to be a politician, really. Because James Whale, quite rightly, for his services to charity, his cancer charities and all the work he's done, like 50 years in radio, that's an incredible achievement. But Nigel Farage comes out and goes, right, lovely. I'm here to me mate, James, because I've been on his show loads on talk radio, me mate James. He did talk radio way back in 1974, and he's been doing it ever since. There's nobody else in the country, and I'm quoting here, nobody else in the country who could be that rude to so many people and get away with it. Well, you're kind of getting away with it so far, Nige, but let me tell you this. He says, congratulations on a well-deserved MBE, but look, tell Nige. He's talking about the wrong James. Because now this wouldn't be told by anybody else, because you have to have been there. And I know that my former program director in the early days of my radio career told me a story that he was producing James Whale and said to James Whale, here, listen to this bloke, James Stanage, he's over in Manchester, just do it a bit more like him. So without appearing to do James Whale down, which I don't want to, because he is a marvellously talented broadcaster. But these people who just talk about stuff as if they know what they're talking about. Sorry, Nige, wrong James. James Whale started at Metro Radio. Was it 74 or 75? I'll have to have a look at the dates. But first commercial radio station was in London. And then there was about 6 in the major conurbations in the major cities. So City FM in Liverpool, Piccadilly in Manchester, BRMB in Birmingham, Metro Radio in Newcastle. They were kind of all coming online roughly about the same time. Capital in London. But the first and most controversial phone-in presenter started the whole game, James Stanage, in Manchester at Piccadilly Radio. And James it was suggested to James Whale that he did it more like that. So one day when we get James Stanage on, we'll have a riotous time. I would like to get James Whale as a congratulatory interview, because what he's done is no mean feat. I mean, he's also, his services to radio go above and beyond, but he's been doing it for a long time. But it's his services to cancer charities that he quite rightly received an MBE for. So I would say Nigel Farage might have been, he loves a pint, and he might have, just been given interesting information and had the odd libation, and then, all of a sudden, he said it wrong. Only suggesting. Terry Wookfit, Angela Rayner was asked if the collars match the cuffs. Oh, interesting. Stop making me laugh, Terry. I'm making my own gags up in my head now. What else we been talking about? Well, Angela Rayner's done. She's just done. They're after her. And the deep state don't give up when they've got... I mean, the neighbours are saying, well, I won't repeat because it was Sweary Mary. And she's done. She's done. And Sir Keir Starmer, is he scaring you yet? He's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. Well, how do you deal with this situation if the evidence is there? And, he likes to be forensic, does Sir Keir. How's he going to get away with this? Hang on. Gelly Darcy, up here for me. It was Scotty McClue. Talk 107. Oh, let me tell you the story about how Scotty McClue knifed me in the back for the gig at Talk 107. Oh, evening, Colin. I'm just jesting. No, I'm not. It's the truth. But he was on Scott FM. That was when Scotty was in his heyday. Was in his pomp and his circumstance. Brilliant. So I think that Sir Keir has nowhere to go with Angela Rayner. Nowhere. Let's talk about this. And I sound curmudgeonly, just old. I don't feel it. I'm running a half marathon in September, but this Taylor Swift thing, I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't want to either. I mean, there are rumours, which I won't repeat here because they're rumours and unsubstantiated. But hang on, who said that? Terry Wookford says something about shaving heads. I am going to talk about Britney Spears tonight and kind of be the iconoclast. But Taylor Swift, I mean, her album's leaked on Friday. Oh, convenient for the weekend. And, well, it's had 300 million streams. That's not to say it's of any quality, because I'll listen to it and I go, well, it's not Led Zeppelin, is it? And then I'll listen again and I'll go, oh, it's not AC/DC. Oh, do I listen to that? Oh, no, it's a bit country. I mean, I can't. I'm going to be really honest with you. I literally would rather stick pins in my eyes and rip my earlobes off than listen to country music. Wouldn't stop you, wouldn't decry you for listening to it, but holy Jesus, man. I mean, the Eagles and Steely Dan, that's kind of on the periphery of country music, but, no. In the words of the Chinese philosopher, I bloody hate country music. My mum loved it. I used to say to her, Mum, what is it about country music? Oh, I love the line dancing. Oh, all right then. So it's not the music itself, it's just the line dancing. And she says, oh, no, it's just the line dancing. I really like it. So Taylor, my ears are bleeding Swift. They call them Swifties. I mean, no wonder that kids are traumatised. So the Swifties have all been listening to the album. And as Max Starr said, CIA, yeah, George Soros owns her. How do you think she gets Person of the Year on Time magazine? Because George Soros owns Time magazine. And George Soros owns Taylor, my ears are bleeding, Swift. Now, I want to give this some context. Because Chris Blythe, James Whale and Alan Robson were the best late night talk show hosts in the 70s and 80s. I agree with you. Oh, Robson, just legendary. Absolutely legendary. And still grafting, still working. And of course, I wish James Whale well, because I grew up on a diet of James Whale on Night Owls, because that was the original programme on Metro in the 70s when I was still at school, kind of like my mid-teens, and you just couldn't switch James Whale off. You couldn't. It was always, I'll just listen to the next caller. I'll just listen to the next caller. And he was just a consummate pro, man. It just, And like, if he abused anybody, oh, brilliant. Oh, he told that bloke to go away. And, you know, it was, that's when I learned about James and his love of archery and the outdoors, and just marvellous. And if I can get the legends of late night talk on here, because they know that I know, A, what I'm talking about, and B, what they've experienced as a late night talk show host. There is a great film with Eric Bogosian as the late night talk show host. Oh, I can't remember the name of it. It is Talk Radio, I'm sure. The film's called Talk Radio. If you can ever see it, it is literally like that. However they decided to do it, Eric Bogosian, what a great film. I mean, it's literally, there are spoilers, I won't spoil it for you, but I will guarantee you that any late night talk show host has come out of the building and there's been somebody there, and you just don't know. But the main characters in Talk Radio, as in the guys that did actually pro radio late at night, they're getting older, as we all are. I had this conversation yesterday. We all think that we're still 27, but we are getting older. It's like our parents all disappear and we get older, and I just want to be able to interview James, Whale, Stanage, Alan Robson, all the usual, everybody that I've met and know. Who was the presenter on Talk Sport at 10 a.m. who was very outspoken and died in a car crash? I listen to him every day. He was brilliant. Dunno. Adam Whale, no relation. You need an H in there, Adam. Let's get back to Taylor Swift. So in my experience of life, you kind of grow up in your teenage years, and and maybe to today's youth, this sounds very dated and very old and very twee, but you would kind of either go out to a pub, or you would meet someone at work, or you would interact with someone of whichever sex you find attractive, and then you kind of get into a relationship of sorts, and the good ones. And if you want me to expound on that, the good ones are the ones that you kind of, well, you are lucky enough to meet the soulmates. And you kind of, well, it depends on life experience, but you just know the ones. And the good ones are always taken. And they stay in long-term relations because the guy's getting what his needs are and met, and the girl is getting what she needs and her needs are met. And invariably, the good uns, not the wrong uns, are always taken. And if they ever become free for whatever reason, they're taken up really quickly for both, male and female. So a good-looking guy who's got the wherewithal together, and he's got means, so the women are all over him. And the good-looking women, the guys are all over them. And, maybe I'm talking about a time past which is just no longer exists. But the good ones never go ping pong, ping pong, ping pong from relationship to relationship to relationship to relationship. And I think Taylor's on her 28th now. So she's not a good one. What can I say? Because the good ones, in my view and in my experience, are always taken. But Taylor Swift, she can't get arrested with a boyfriend. Wonder why that is then. Say moi. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah, and that's why there's so many albums out, because she brings an album out after all the boys have kind of kicked her into touch. Now, she's got this album, and some of the lyrics, I'll give her that. But she's kind of like controlled opposition. Who's that? Ray Norton. Thank you, Ray. Are you virgin, Ray? Not in the real sense, but in the theatre of the mind and the body of the Kirk sense. If it's the first time here, there you go. Pop your cherry. Rich says, Taylor Swift is the product. Very managed. I know. And Mick Roche, any bloke getting involved with Swift should immediately be saying, I want 50% in royalties. Fabulous. Because there was, what can I say? How can I say this? There's been a whole retinue of chaps. And the relationships don't really last that long. So either they're not getting any, and I don't mean to be disingenuous, they're either not getting any, or they're not getting enough. And I kind of get that, she's like one of the most famous individuals on planet Earth. But she can't keep hold of a boyfriend. Why is that then? You better be watching the screen while I do this. I have no idea, Adrian. What are you saying? Yeah, George Soros owns a man. But I just simply, these are the best thing that ever happened to me when I was born. Because, like, my ears can hear a midgie fart at 300 paces. And I can hear the context and the deeper esoteric sense of music. And music, to quote John Myers, is my first love. Is it not John Myers? No, it's not. John Myers was my radio buddy. John Miles, you tart. Yeah, so John Miles. Music was my first love, and it will be my last. Joe. And do you know something? For the anoraks, John Miles' music was the news jingle for Metro Radio when I was a teenager, when I was like 15, 16, they had John Miles' music as the news jingle. Oh, the joy. And I can hear it now. I mean, in my personal opinion, one of the best radio news jingles in the world ever. Ever, 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 and will never be bettered. We can argue about it, but, John Miles' music was my first love, and it will be my last. So I can't. I'm really sorry. And I feel sorry for the kids. Not to go on about this, but I feel sorry for the kids. Yeah, Neil. I know, John, personal friend. But the kids, how do they sort of raid their parents' or grandparents' record collection? And do they go, who's this? Who's this? Ooh, what do you know? So, vinyl, I was having this conversation yesterday with one of my cousins, who's a mad vinyl collector. And it's the smell, it's the sight of the album cover. You can spend hours just reading it and everything. And when I released my Top Man tape CD, that's what I intended to do. I intended to make sure that the sleeve had loads of information, because it was all CDs and there was no vinyl-ish. But how can the kids now go, I love Ed Sheeran, me? And I'm like, hang on a second, he's no Bob Dylan. Yeah, but I love, Taylor Swift's got a lovely voice. Oh, she's no Dusty Springfield. Yeah, Mick Ross says, John Shuttleworth, I can't go back to Savoury now. Alan, kids, they're too busy barking and meowing at each other these days. Quite. Anyone for a saucer of milk? So I can't. I've tried. I have tried. And I will say, the lyrics are not bad. But it's not about the lyrics for me. It's about the rhythm, mate. Rhythm driven for me. That's why I do me funk and soul show on a Saturday night for 3 hours. Because I just love it. But, twee. No. Shite, mate. Oh, did I say that out loud? Just a personal opinion. And everybody's allowed and welcome to a personal opinion. Here's a really, 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 really good idea. Are you, and I'm going to have to put this sort of petition hyperlink into the description of this particular video, live number 76. And there's a petition being garnered around, are you joining the ballot paper campaign for none of the above category? So you know the ballot paper you go in. Most people will vote for a political party because they're lazy, or they will spoil the ballot paper, or just go, oh, shite, man. No. So now there is a ballot paper campaign for none of the above category on the next general election ballot paper. So I'm going to ask you, where's me questions? I'm going to ask you, for the next general election ballot paper, whilst I describe this to you, you can vote in the comments. Do you want none of the above option on your ballot paper? At the next general election, your ballot paper, do you want none of the above option on the paper? So let me explain to you what's going to go on. If the ballot gets to 10,000 signatures, the ministers are obliged to respond. So somebody will stand up, Esther McVeigh or somebody, and go, right, lads, yeah, wrong ones. Oh, sorry, Speaker, wrong language. Yes, of course, 1 for yes, 2 for no. We're just obliging and responding. So do you want none of the above category on the next general election ballot paper? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Somebody's really keen on Lionel Layton, unrehearsed live. Thank you, Lionel. Now, when it gets to 100,000 signatures, that's when it gets really, really interesting. Now, this has just come out. I'm not quite sure where we are with this particular campaign. I think it's under the 10,000 signatures. I'm going to sign it when I've finished on here. What's that? I suffer from premature election, so I always spoil my paper. Bless you, Neil. Well, you might want none of the above. It doesn't do it for you. So at the moment, you can spoil or abstain. And from what I understand, they've done none of the above in America. Can you remember Nikki Haley, who was trying to challenge Donald Trump for the Republican nomination? And she was beaten. Nikki Haley lost to none of the above. So some people get really aerated. So continue the votes, please. Yes for one, 2 for no, if you want the none of the above category on your ballot paper. Now, from what I can... So I sat down, being the cynical old tart, and thought, well, hang on a second. Let's just take this from another angle, so to speak. Not in the body of the Kirk this evening, you wrong'uns. Wait till you get home. The electorate will go, I'll show them. Yeah, get that on the ballot paper. General election ballot paper. And it's got to be on by May the 8th. So there's only 4 weeks. They've conflated the time into like a couple of weeks. What we've got left, 10 days-ish in March, and then 8 days in May. So you're talking about a week and a half, 2 weeks and a half. So they don't want you to get to 1,000 signatures so that the parliamentarians have to do any work. Oh, don't be silly. What? They're all in the bar getting squiffy. So it could be that it's a case of they want you to go, right, the wrong ones. I'm going to show them. I'm going to vote for none of the above. Well, actually, it's all a setup. So none of the above might be the best option for you if you're a Labour supporter and Sir Keir Starmer is scaring the bejesus out of you. Because the Tories are done. They're done. And they're not going to allow reform in. They're not going to allow the Lib Dems. They're not going to allow them in. And seemingly, they're talking about a 200-seat majority for the Labour Party. So people are, I've told you, that people will go into the booths and go, who do I vote for? This shower of shite. Technical term that we use in radio and on YouTube. So 48% are not sure if Rich Boy or Sir Keir Starmer, is he scaring you yet, will make the best Prime Minister. So 50% of any vote, they're like, not sure about them. Politicians, aren't they? How can you tell when a politician's lying? Their lips move. So if none of the above wins, what they're saying is that the ballot could be rerun and a possibility that initial candidates are disqualified. So it feels like almost like a leadership election for, the Tories or Labour or somebody who's vying for the leadership. So they stand and what do they call them? Stalking horses. So the leader, the stalking horse may took some of their votes, and it ends up being quite messy. So we have a none of the above system in France, the US, Spain, and Canada. They all offer a similar option. So I do ask you, and please comment however you see fit. I know that most people are going, yeah, we'll have one of them. Yeah. 1 for yes, 2 for no. We're having one of them. Yeah, we'll have none of the above. But then is that just flattening the whole game? Politics. Is it like first past the post? We'll pull every stunt to stay in power. Every single one. And is this just another stalking horse stunt where, the majority of voters are going none of the above, and then the Tories sneak in somehow? Because they will try it. Democracy? Behave. So the petitions are at parliament.uk/petitions/650023. So if you want to go and have a look at it while you're listening to this particular live, you can do. It's parliament.uk/petitions/650023. I've just had an alert on my phone saying that it's all kicking off in northern Israel. So keep an eye on that, because these snake oil sellers, they will pull every stunt so that they can stay in power. Can you imagine? Another 4 or 5 years of Rich Boy and his boys. I wanted to... I don't understand why people are... They're not thick. Most people may not have a intelligent quotient. Some people may just not be particularly bothered about what's going on in life. It might actually scare some people. You know, some people are, because they may have kids or grandkids, or they don't want their houses threatened, or life seems to be... I mean, I watched a video earlier of 2 boys in London yesterday on the Edgware Road having a machete fight. And you just think, oh, hang on a second, where are the cops? Now, the cops did arrive quickly, but why is it that individuals believe that it is their right to have a machete fight in full glare and view of passers-by? Everybody got their mobile phones out, and that footage will be everywhere on social media. But how dangerous does it have to be before Sadiq Carnage steps in and says to the cops, "Oi, get this sorted"? Rather than bring that bloody stupid hate law in that the Scots have got. Oh, well, it'll serve England and Wales. No, it won't. Get the violence off the streets. Sort it. Sort it. But they won't. So if you look at the papers today, you'll see there are little stories, showbiz stories about Britney Spears. She's deciding, and whether it's over the line or not, whether the contracts have been signed. Yes, Mick Roche. Did you see the Sweden dad in front of his 12-year-old lad? Horrific. Yeah, I did. And I don't know about you, but I look at, what would I have done? I've been in some hairy situations. And what would I have done? You can't really answer it until you're in that situation. But my training would kick in. Oh, definitely. But this iPhone video, horrendous, simply horrendous. So while seeing that, I was looking at Britney, and she's going to, it looks like the ink's dry on the contracts, and she's going to make a movie out of her memoir. Her memoir is a bit lively, but one of the things, hang on a second, Nicholas says, today Gateshead Council have pulled the plug on Gateshead FC promotion. Too many Anthony... I'll have to read that again, Nicholas. I can't decode it whilst I'm in situ, so to speak. But Britney's making a movie about a memoir. Let me tell you something. There's a question. Why did she shave her head? Why did she go into a salon and just buzz cut it, just bald? A bit. Can you remember Persis Kambata in the original Star Trek movie? Persis Kambata. Got me through puberty, that. So Britney, get a buzz cut, baldy bonds, and people are like, why is she doing that? Because she was in a custody battle. And her partner at the time, the father of a child, I think it was one child, they would have gone, oh, hey, let's get a hair test to see how much, rock and roll Britney's doing. So she just went in and went, boom, 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 got rid of it. And people were like, oh, is she mad? What's going on? No. So nobody could take a hair sample and work out what recreational she'd been using. And the other thing is, spitters are quitters. That's all I'm going to say. Spitters are quitters. You'll have to go and find it. I'm not putting it up here. It might not be on the internet anymore. But I was sitting in LBC with my producer. So Britney, Baldy Bonds, movie. So now you know why. It wasn't difficult to work out. The other thing is, I say, Britain's Got Talent. I'll talk about Michelle Mona in a second. Britain's Got Talent is back on TV. Oh, for foxtrot's sake, man. Now, can we just... I don't know whether you've... hang on a second. Really, I should... that's it. I don't know whether you can see this, but can you see Simon Cowell? There. And can you see that Simon Cowell looks like the bastard love child of Louis Walsh and Sharon Osbourne? No. He needs to go back to his plastic surgeon and go, oh, you're wrongin'. What you done? I look like Louis and Sharon's love child. Either that, or he sat too close to the fire and his face has melted. But he's now saying, oh, well, I'll sort it. Oh, man, it's just publicity to let you know the Britain's Got Talent is back on the telly. Simon Face Trowel, bless you. Oh, hang on a second. Napoleon Blonaparte's just called Tower Block Tracy a tart. Oh, it's all kicking off in the chat. So, I don't... I see through these things because I've been in the media for quite a long time, and I just see that it's Simon, man. Why did you do it? They reckon he's worth like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of pounds. Back in the day when he was with Sunita, good-looking boy, muscled-up boy, bit of a muscle Mary, attracted the girls, and now he's like, oh, he's got to be in his 60s. But is that any need to have the plastic surgery done? Talking about which I wasn't, but I will do in a minute. David Beckham. Have you seen the fizzog on him recently? Oh, we shall get there, darling. We shall get there. It's Posh's 50th birthday anniversary, birthday celebrations, and she's, well, it's been going on all week. So why are they? It's just dull. It's just dull. But can I ask you a question? Oh, let's have another question. What have I done with him? Yes. I'm going to ask you, I talked about Bibi Netanyahu earlier, and I wanted to ask this question around the Israeli-Middle East conflict, because I don't know whether it is war or whether it's kind of war light, or whether it's somebody playing on a PlayStation 5 and they don't realise that we are, let's play a game. Can you remember that film? Was it War Games or something? Where the computer went, let's play a game, and just loosed all the bloody missiles off. And they were all sitting there going, have the computer done this, sir? No. Who told the computer to do that? Dunno. Just loosed all the missiles off. And got the East and the West, as in America and Russia, so close to nuclear war. But is it somebody playing on his PlayStation 5 just going, lads, man, here, which one should we use? Should we use a fighter jet, or should we use a long-range missile, or what should we do? Long-range missile, do you reckon? Yeah, go on, press the button. Oh, brilliant. This is a great game. This is really realistic. And the Iranians are going, oh, loose this off, sending missiles over here. Send another one back. Just stick a nuclear warhead on it. So who gets the first nuclear option in? The Samson option. So I just want to ask you a question. 1 for yes, 2 for go. 1 for yes, 2 for no. Has fatigue set in about Israel? Because I don't know whether people are hearing this. It's a bit like politics. What they do is they just get you sick and tired of politics. And then you go, I can't be bothered to vote. Stuff it. Here, I'm off down the pub for a few beers. And are we getting into, because we're 6 or 7 months in to whatever you would call this in the Middle East. The Americans are building a port, toot sweet, along with the French and the Brits. The Brits and the French and some others are sending warplanes in. And they're building the port to get the gas and oil out of the Gaza Strip and the East Mediterranean Sea. And they're also building the road to facilitate that particular port that's also going to have the Ben Gurion Canal next to it. So all of this is going on, and it's just like Bibi Netanyahu postulating, I am a war prime minister. I said this earlier, but are we getting to a point where we don't want to hear it anymore? Are we? Has fatigue, I'll get the question correct. Has fatigue set about Israel? One, but Ria Odell, very, very good answer. One, which is yes, but apathy's beginning to creep in. Because in today's newspapers, the Israelis are saying, well, there's still 40 hostages being held. Oh, that's a bit convenient. So what is their end game in Gaza? Because I know that Bibi Netanyahu, for decades and decades and decades, would run tabletop exercises. And it would mean that they would look at the outcomes of whatever they would do. And they will have done tabletop exercises ad nauseum about what would happen if they flattened Gaza and they got all the Gazans out of the Gaza Strip. They will know. And is this stuff with Iran just a diversion? Are they really going to use the Samson option? Samson option gets lobbed over into Iran, it's all going to kick off. Now, I'm not trying to scare you because this is a reality. A reality. Was it Louis Hirsch who wrote the Samson option book about Israel's nuclear capability? And according to not Jimmy Carr, the American president, the peanut farmer, he said, oh, they've got about 150 nuclear warheads. And that was back in the 70s. So has fatigue set in about Israel? Thank you very much for your votes. 1 for yes, 2 for no. That's what I was going to do. We'll leave Michelle Moan for a second because I just want to. So, hang on a second. Might be in here. See if I can. This is sort of proof that I buy the newspapers every day. So here is. Can you see that? That is David Beckham and family. So Beckham's in there. I don't know whether you can see his face. What's going on with that fizzog? I mean, we know that Posh's tits are fake. Maybe they've taken the boobs. We know that they're fake because you can tell by the valley in between them. And like Beckham's, is he 50 yet? Got a shed load of money, but has David Beckham used the same surgeon as Simon Cowell? That's why I mentioned Cowell earlier. Has David Beckham sat too close to the fire? Or did someone give him a fright and his face stayed like that? Because you might have to replay this. Hang on a second. Because got it. Has he had a hair transplant? Hang on. Has he had a hair transplant? Look at that. Look at that quiff. I thought he was going, a bit thin. Because you do as you get older. Is he gone a bit thin? But look at that. There's not a line, not a wrinkle, nothing in that fizzog. Now, I wish David well, because all he wants is to be Sir David, like Sir Bobby Charlton, his hero. But I just don't know where I know where he could have got the plastic from Posh. But what? I mean, has he slapped the wrong moisturiser on his face that's taken all the wrinkles out? I've told you the time I met David Beckham, and it's the randomest thing in the world, like really random. And his memoirs confirm this. His dad's confirmed this in interviews. So I'm at Rock FM in Preston. And one of my mates, if you've heard this before, just, give the old Rev a moment. Time like Tracy, as Beck's got Cowell's nuts in his cheeks. Well, grey squirrels. So I'm at Rock FM, and one of my mates, Dave, he goes, fancy going like in Preston, near the bus station. So the Rockin' Church was just over the road from Sainsbury's and the bus station. And there was two sort of dual carriageways. You had to get over one dual carriageway going south and then jump the fence, and then the ones coming north, you just had to avoid the cars. And my mate Dave said, "Oh, I'm hungry. Do you fancy going over to Sainsbury's?" So I was like, "Yeah, all right then." So we go over, we do our shopping, we're catching up on the gossip and the anaracking. And all of a sudden, as we're coming back towards the Rocking Church, this car pulls up, heading north. And this guy winds the window down with this skinny little guy in the passenger seat, looked like a teenager with like really blonde hair. And this guy said, "Do you know where Preston North End is?" And we went, "Yeah, down the road. Hang right at the lights just there, and then all the way down, and then you can see the floodlights and just pull in there." And the guy said, "Oh, right, so down these lights, hang a right, and then it's down there." And the kid in the passenger seat didn't say a word. It was the father or whomever, coach, in the driver's seat. So we just let him go. Me and Dave go back to Anaraki, and we get back into work. We've got to do the prep for the show. And like years later, Bex released his memoir. In the memoir, Fergie sent him over to Preston North End to kind of build him up, get him, fatten him up into I think he was about 16 or 17 when he went over to Preston North End. He was at the academy in Manchester United, but they sent him over there to kind of hone his skills, fatten him up, get him into a, manly body. And I said to my mate, "Yeah, Dave, remember that day?" He went, "No. That day we went to Sainsbury's and that guy pulled us over in the car. That was David Beckham in the passenger seat." He was like, "I had a wee and shite, man. No, honestly, Dave, it was David Beckham, man, I'm telling you. And sure enough, the dad was like being interviewed going, "Oh yeah, I took David over, Preston North End, and and he did well, and then he was taken back to Manchester United." And I was like, "Dave," he lives in Australia now, evening Dave. Dave, I'm telling you, that was Bex in the passenger seat." So randomly, David Beckham didn't say anything, didn't go, "Bugger me, it's Adrian Allen." No, none of that malarkey. No. So they've got so much money. They reckon Bex and the family are worth hundreds and hundreds of millions of pounds. Just stop it. Just stop it with the fizzog. Because they'll get to bury you and they'll go, "Blimey, he still looks 16. And Posh will still be pushing her up when she goes into her grave. Might have to cut 2 holes in the coffin lid, get it closed. So let's get Michelle Moan. I've got, honestly, I shouldn't really laugh at what's going on. But honestly, you literally couldn't make this up. Michelle Moan is closing down what's left of her business empire. So, anyone for sanitizing money, Michelle? Why would you close your businesses down? You would back them up, wouldn't you? You'd say, "Oh, nothing going on here." No, nothing going on here. All above board and legal. She's been the director of 12 companies. She now has 3 companies, but is planning to dissolve 2. The companies that she's planning to dissolve are those companies that she has links with Knox Group. What do you mean Knox? Knox. Knox Group. Who's that? They're owned by a hubby, Doug Barrowman. So where are they? Are they still in the Mediterranean on that very expensive yacht? Now, he could be a billionaire, but all I'm saying is, where's the PPE money? And the government's not really doing anything. I mean, they're kind of investigating, but there's been no outcomes yet. So she's closing down 2 of her 3 companies that are left, the ones that have got links to her hubby's companies, or Knox Group. Can you smell that? Exactly. You know what that is, don't you? Can I ask you, let's talk about Hilary Swank, because I told Swank, you're Robin. I said Hilary Swank. I mean, if you're a Hollywood star, surely you would change that. Hubby could say, I'm just going for a swank. That'd be the wife then. Now, she's said today that she's going to quit Hollywood. Oh, I say. As Mick has said, there are too many positions of power that carry no accountability. I agree with you, Mick. And I think most people are trying to get to the point where these crooks are brought to account. Now, I'm not suggesting Michelle Moan's a crook, but if it walks like a duck, waddles like a duck, and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. Now, get very, very clever accountants and creatively account for stuff. But why would you bin two companies that just happen to be connected to your hubby's company, group of companies? Hilary Swank. Just because I love saying her second name. Well, you could have Killary. No, you can't. That's the wrong one. Hilary Swank quit Hollywood. And do you know why she's quit Hollywood? She wants to look after her twins. No. Twins. Twin children. One's called Aya, which I get that. Higher, Aya. And as we say in the Northeast, when somebody gives you a dead leg, Aya. God, that hurt. So that's not the one I was talking about when we were calling it like Zowie Bowie and Roland Bowling and Moon Unit. But it's this. Do you have to be high on gas and air? Where in hospital and you go, I know, don't worry, I know what we're going to call this one. We'll call one Aya, because it was a painful birth. Or we called the other one because it was a peaceful birth. And, I mean, when the kids get to like 13, 14, they go, Mum, what'd you call us Aya for? Because it was painful birth. That's why. It's a great word from the northeast of England. Aya. And I'm sitting there going, Mummy, just thought of a great gag. Can't tell you. I don't. I'll do it on another live. I'll see if I can sanitize it because it's a great gag. It's a great gag. So the other one sitting there going, oh, Mummy, why was I called Oh, because it was a peaceful birth, darling. So what's the most unusual celeb name you've ever heard? We had a couple of good ones earlier. Yeah. Aya or ow. I mean, can you imagine? Mummy, why was I called ow? Because it was painful. That's why. Have you ever given birth yet? No, Mummy, I'm only 7. So, is it boy named Sue? How do you do? I don't know. But have you got Broken Johnny? Pinprick? Hang on a second. What's Kaz saying? You are going to say the second twin is Nappa, are you? Oh, do you know? That's genius. That is genius. One twin, Aya. Other one, Nappa. Guys, that's actually the best comment of the night. Has made me proper laugh inside. What about Dylan? He was on the Magic Roundabout, man? Wasn't he the cow? No, it was Dylan. He was the rabbit that sang with his guitar, wasn't he? Ooh, we're showing our age now. Max says, Aya, Waska. Brilliant. Oh yeah, Michael Jackson, blanket. Who said that? Kathy Harper. So, are you a first timer, Kathy? Are you a Theatre of the Mind virgin? Did you manage to get into the body of the Kirk and a place in the pews? I do hope so. Hope you're enjoying it so far. That's a popping your cherry. Tim says the hippie. Yeah, but he was Dylan, wasn't he? The rabbit. He was the hippie rabbit. Well, probably off his nut on weed or whatever. It's like cats and catnip. Have you ever seen cats on catnip? It's like proper. Seriously. I mean, I used to live with 3 cats, and for some inexplicable reason, we thought it would be a good idea to feed them catnip. Their eyes were like massive and proper off their trolleys. And the eldest of the 3 cats was staggering around, and I was like, what's in that catnip? Oh, it's just like mint. It's just mint from the garden. I was like, what? mint that I put on my titties. And they went, no, it's a different kind of mint. It has no effect on humans. Well, fan my brow. It has a bloody reaction in cats, let me tell you. But funny as. Yeah. Hang on. Max, bloody David. Oh, Kathy, thank you very much. I often watch but don't comment. Welcome. You can have your comment cherry popped. Thank you for that. Do appreciate it. So we'll kind of leave Hilary Swank alone, because she's obviously wanting to be a good mum and is just saying to Hollywood, a bit like John Lennon. John Lennon went, lads, I'm taking 5 years out. I wasn't much of a dad for Julian, and now I want to be around when Sean is, before he goes to school, the first 5 years. And he was kind of like making bread and chilling out, and that's when he started recording once Sean got a little older and got into the process of schooling. Can I ask you your opinion? I've never heard this, but I think it's brilliant. Well, no, actually. It's a crime. So I can't say it's brilliant and I can't encourage it. But it's just the name. So some people are robbing shoplifters. So they're robbing from the shops, which absolutely, categorically, I am against. But they're calling them the Robin Hood shoplifters. Have you heard the phrase? And basically what they're doing is these Robin Hood shoplifters are going into shops and nicking food and then taking them down to the food bank. I mean, I kind of get that they're reappropriating stuff, but people are running businesses. Hang on, Mick. Have you ever watched Freddy Got Fingered? Is that the same as Weekend at Bernie's? Have you seen President Joe Biden? Whew, Weekend at Joe's. So these Robin Hood shoplifters, I mean, technically they could make a great musical out of it. Who said that? Was it Tablock Tracy? Tablock Tracy said more like Robin Bastards. Robin Bastards. So I kind of get that morally, it's still a crime. It's against the law. You can't go thieving out of shops. But if they are reappropriating it and going to a food bank so people can feed, I mean, sweary Mary Lawrence chipped in. Bollocks, said a spokesperson. Lauren says that's utter rollocks, Adrian. Thieving is thieving, which and they are. Who's that? Rich is saying they're targeting M&S. I kind of get it though. Is it the romanticizing of thieving? What, as Lauren says, thieving is thieving. Is it the Disneyfication or the romanticizing of this so that they can get away with it? But if they are not, so let's look at a theft. If you permanently deprive someone of something, then it's theft. But if you are permanently depriving someone of something, food, and you're giving it to a food bank, is that still theft? Criminal act? Bless you. Neil says, they tried that with Netto and the food bank rejected the goods. Ooh, they only want the good stuff. This is not M&S thieving. No, sorry, this is not just thieving. This is M&S thieving. So technically it's still theft. But there was a part of me that thought, are we romanticizing this? Yeah, they're not just a shoplifter, they're an M&S shoplifter. Brilliant. Who said that? Ray Norton says it's not just any food bank, it's an M&S food bank. I mean, it just lends itself to gags. Loads and loads of gags. But I did for a moment think, I mean, M&S, massive, massive company, and they make a lot of profit out of their food. So do they stop this by saying what we will do is we will daily, any food left over that's going out of date range, we'll donate it to food banks, local food banks? Because that would be sort of the jivvy along that not just any shoplifter, M&S shoplifter. So you kind of shortcut everything. And maybe it's a promotion for something that M&S is going to do. I mean, I don't know whether they are thieving to give to food banks. But as I say, lends itself to gags. Everybody's at it. Gary Darcy, shops will close down and you will buy food via online only like Amazon. Oh, yeah, I get it. I mean, it's a pincer movement where, you can't have cars. You've got to live in 15-minute cities. You've got to buy the food that we're going to give you. Crickets. I mean, I had a beautiful piece of pork today. A beautiful piece of lamb yesterday, and you think, how are they going to take this away and make me eat crickets? Bill Gates won't. Nigel Green says, that's exactly what they should do, Adrian. The amount of food that supermarkets throw away that is still in date is truly shocking. I've seen it. I used to work on the bins. Thank you, Nigel. I used to work in a supermarket. I was a backdoor man, which is a genuine thing. It is a genuine thing that supermarkets, when they're taking deliveries, they have somebody at the back door who just goes, oh, no, right, pile over there, mate. Yeah, over there. He's, or they, or she, are known as the backdoor man. So I thought it was a great job being a backdoor man. Stop it. Lauren Taylor says, yes, same as the ones that come in to the food bank I volunteer in. Not all, but a lot selling their wares in the pubs. Oh, so the thieving. Run in, get the steaks, into the local pub, half price, mate. What do you want that for? Me methadone. I'm now going to give you, because we're still going to go for 10, 15 minutes or so. Don't forget Billboard Chris, please. It's one of those important interviews that I've done that I hope gets quite a few views. Just some of the detail that Billboard Chris put into the video that we premiered earlier today. If you've come to the live, please catch up with Billboard Chris because he talks a great deal of sense and uses facts. He doesn't muck about. He talks about stuff and gives you facts. I was talking to a friend of mine today, before we get to Caroline Flack, because I just want to give you facts. Mate of mine, Dean, says, Adrian, in the pub over the weekend, we were having a chat, and we asked this question in amongst the group. If you could recommend one TV show and one film, what would it be? So, thank you, moderator. So there's a link there. If you want to watch the Billboard Chris video, the link is there in the chat. So if you could recommend, you're going to have to type more than one for yes and two for no. You are going to have to recommend one TV show and one film. What would it be? I'll give you mine to get you going, to get your creative juices flowing. I would say that the TV show would be Breaking Bad. I know some people around me that might say Grey's Anatomy. I mean, God blimey, that's nearly 500 episodes. That if you've not watched Grey's Anatomy, that's some binge watch. But Breaking Bad, I was binging the whole series in days. I would go home from work just to chill out. Rich says 8 out of 10 cats does countdown. Lauren Taylor says, hit the like button, you're wrongin'. There's 200 people watching and we've only got 100 likes. Yeah, wrongin'. Bullseye and Shawshank Redemption. Good ones. Oh, I loved a bit of Bully. And I've never watched the whole of the Shawshank Redemption. It's like the Green Mile. God, blimey, that was a work of attrition. 3 hours long. My bum went numb. Not a first, let me tell you. Amelia Grassi, Interstellar, Breaking Bad. Oh, great film, Interstellar. Great film. And I'm in agreement with you, Amalia. Breaking Bad. I mean, don't get much better. Some people might say The Sopranos. Some might say, for film, The Godfather. I mean, Marlon Brando. So would it be... Fred Baker says, Upstairs, Downstairs, and It's a Wonderful Life. Oh, yeah, every Christmas. See, the wonderful recommendations. Rich says Apollo 13. Tom Hanks. Yeah. And Napoleon Blown Apart. TV show, Deadliest Catch. Oh. And movie, Moses. Interesting. I am a fan of sort of biblical tomes. But, so have we got any more? Yeah, Kaz. 987 says, Only Fools and Horses and Train Spotting. Oh, greatness. So who would you, a TV show, which one would you recommend? And a film, what would it be? So my TV show would be Breaking Bad. And my film would be The Matrix. Because it was so groundbreaking at the end of the 90s. I mean, that was just right out. And still to this day, you can look at the esoteric depth in it. You can get lots more. It's one of the few films that I could watch and watch and watch. There was The Damned United. That was a great film. And I literally, having met Cloughie, I didn't want it to end. I just didn't want that film to end. But it had to. And I had to go home. But Lauren says To Kill a Mockingbird. Study that at school. The Heat of the Night. Oh, that was a bit, got a bit steamy. Was that Catherine and... Oh, God, I can see both of them. Oh, you've done it now. Your brain's going to go into overdrive, Lauren. In the Field, The Prisoner TV. Oh, I am not a number. I am a... Oh, brilliant. Wasn't that shot in Wales somewhere? Who's that? Gary Darcy. Blazing Saddles. Fools and Horses and Film Somewhere in Time from Karen Boo, UK. There is... I loved my time in South Wales. There is a film that I tried telling everyone about yesterday, and I couldn't quite sell it to them. But Twin Town, because somebody says, "Oh, I love Cardiff." I say, "Oh, you've not been to Swansea? Swansea Jack?" No. Oh, look, watch Twin Town. If you can get a copy, you can pick them up cheap anywhere. Twin Town. It is everything about Swansea and nothing about Swansea. It's just a fabulous fact. I mean, it's proper of its time, but I was in South Wales watching it and laughed my cap off. Oh, is that DC? Well, obviously you would be, wouldn't you? One of the Swans. Yeah, Swansea Jack. DC, I'm in Twin Town. A pretty shitty city. Alan says, Adam Wheel, without an H before you start, says... place in Wales you're thinking of is Portmeirion. Yes, of course, Portmeirion. I mean, again, that was massively ahead of its time. Like 20, 30 years later, people are going, ooh, let's look at the depth of that. It's brilliant. It's wonderful. So my vote would go Matrix for film and TV show Breaking Bad. Ray Gordon says Peter Sellers, Pink Panther movies. Oh, quality. And Gary Darcy, Hear No Evil, See No... Hear No Evil, See No Evil. So you can continue with those while I talk about Caroline Flack. And it's a real... Caroline Flack is an emotive subject. And a lot of people blame certain journalists and what's gone on. But one of her friends was running the London Marathon today, I think for charity. But she said, I'm running this for Flacky. Now, we have to be very careful as a collective that we don't run away with the Disneyfication of celebrities. Now, she was on the telly. That's it. I had a bit of a fling with Harry. Ginger sphericals. So I'm told. But I'm doing this for Flacky. I'm doing this marathon, the London Marathon today. So I would suggest, rather than... And I hope she reaches her goal of the money that she wants to raise. Running a marathon is not easy and takes months and months and months of training. Hard training in all weathers. If it's raining or sunny or shine or cold, you just have to get out there and knock out the miles. Gag there somewhere. But Caroline Flack was a domestic abuser. She was a domestic abuser. And I do not tolerate from either gender domestic violence. It's one of the worst things in our society that we allow to go on. It's unacceptable. And I've seen domestic violence close up. And I will tell you this. There's a rage in me that I can't control. And if I see anyone lift their hands to a woman, I'll take care of business. Now, I will say again, Caroline Flack was a domestic abuser. And do you want to know how I know? Because these have heard the tape that the police have where her boyfriend Lewis Burton called 999. And I quote, "She's trying to kill me, mate." And she used a lamp and hit him in the face and cut him. Now that is a serious assault. I don't know why the powers that be are reporting this as some Disneyfication of some girl, woman, however you want to describe her, that just was on the telly. And I also understand that any trauma that means that you are in a place that you don't want to continue is also unacceptable. Look, it's 2024. Let's be adult about this. We need to support people, but also we need to support the victims of domestic violence. And the victims of domestic violence go both ways, male and female. I've taken calls on phone-ins that I've done in the East Midlands where we talked about a similar subject, and some guy rang in and said, "Look, Adrian, it's not just women that experience domestic violence, men do too." And he told me he said his girlfriend he didn't know whether what kind of mood she would be in when he got home from work. He didn't know what she was going to do, and she just literally, when he wasn't suspecting it, would batter him around the head with pieces of wood and cut him. And but it's another conversation for another time about whether you stay with someone that abuses you or not. And there is an anger, certainly after lockdown now. As I said earlier, with these two guys having a go at a machete at each other, society feels much more violent now in lots of different ways, whether it's road rage or whether it's gang fighting for turf or recreational dealing. But surely, in a well-organized society, we can help the victims of domestic violence. And I think that's why the Met were going to charge her. And the mum's come out and said, "I want an investigation as to why they were going to charge her." And I don't understand that, because I heard the tape. They played it in the mainstream media. "She was trying to kill me, mate," was the quote from her boyfriend, Lewis Burton. Now he's gone off. Because maybe the spotlight was too much for him. And I'm sad that Caroline took the route that she took. But let's be real about this. We're not dancing on anyone's grave. But let's be real about this. And let's protect the victims of domestic violence, because that's what Lewis Burton is. So if the Met released that tape, I mean, what does the mum say? because that tape is somewhere and it was going to be used as evidence. And it would have been down for a judge and jury. And I really feel strongly about this, that it's the Disneyfication of a celebrity on TV. All of the friends and stuff are coming out going, oh, it's really sad. Of course it is. Anybody taking their life, of course it is sad and unacceptable. And people who are struggling should be given support, especially in 2024. But as Geopolitics just said, society's so much more angry now. There's so much anger around. And look, if you see the footage online, it's on X that I saw it earlier, on the Edgware Road. I used to work at the Edgware Road when I was doing Liberty 963 in London. So it is a sad tale, but I think we shouldn't be egging that particular pudding in some kind of search for justice. I think you'll find the police, who are the evidence gatherers, had enough evidence, and the I'm saying Procurator Fiscal, that's in Scotland. Crown Prosecution Service, the CPS, they could make the decision, and they were going ahead. But that story's kind of disappeared. But it just, the drip, 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 drip effect of, I'm running this for my friend. And in other news, Esther, well, I just feel that, and we'll do the royals in a second. I can't remember what I've oh yes, I have forgot it. It's really sad when, and I have personal experience of this. So Trevor Francis kind of shuffled off and left about 2 million in his will. He left about 1.8 million in the UK, which is given to his brother and sister, and he's got some interests in Spain that's worth quite a bit. So he's got about 2 million in assets. And he said, my children, my 2 sons, are not reliant on me financially. So all of my money, all of my assets are going to my brothers and sisters. Sorry, my brother and sister. And it made me think of, my dad wasn't a great man. And in the last few years of his life, he was a bit of a caring, understanding 90s type. And so I've never had kids. And the last time I saw my dad, I had a conversation with him. And the conversation went roughly like this. Just thought I'd pop in, Dad, just to tell you that I love you and just talk about stuff. And he turned around to me and he said, well, you've never given me kids, have you, to carry my name on? I was like, what? Where's that come from? So you've harboured this for nearly 60 years. And he, oh, yeah. So I thought in that moment, do I tell him bad stuff? Really bad stuff that he had no idea of? So do I tell him or do I not? And why would I give that to an ailing old man? So I just sucked it up. I just said, all right, Dad. And he said, he wanted me to do something. He said, if you don't do that, well, don't come back. So I said, all right then. I never went back. He cut me out of the will. He left specific instructions with the solicitors that I was to get nothing. And that's why I never talk about my father in any good light whatsoever. Don't care about the money, but I care about the intention behind the act. And if only I told him in that moment, is it regret? No. If I told him about the abuse, and it was bad. We jailed one of them for 36 years. So if I told him, would that have been more punishment for an old boy who only had a couple of years left, didn't really do anything, his health was awful? Or did I just take it and being the better person? So Trevor Francis cutting his 2 sons out of a £2 million will, and it's gone to his brother and sister. Just really hit home that there are, I kind of get ego. Cool, blimey, I worked in radio and in press and in telly. You know about ego working in that kind of industry. But just somebody going, fuck Strodowski, you're not getting anything. It's just pernicious and nasty. And then you get families fighting for the money. Why be vindictive? Why do that? I don't have any questions around what my dad did. And when I read this story about Trevor Francis, because there is a theory that his boys got involved in something that they really shouldn't have got involved in. And Trevor, his 2 sons were estranged. But I wasn't estranged from my dad. Until he stuck the knife in. And then I just thought, I've got no comeback to that, Dad. Unless I start shagging an 18-year-old and start knocking kids out, that's not going to happen. Mind you, when I was at school, these career teachers, one of them we're having this class at school. And I think I was about 14, 15. And the teacher says, "Oh, Adrian, what would you like to be when you grow up?" Said, "I want to be Charlie Chaplin." And she said, "Oh, you want to be an actor?" I said, "No, I want to be knocking kids out when I'm 85. Gay Webster said, "My father played that game between me and my sister. He left 1.4 million and his third wife of a few months got a third." Oh, what was she called? The old billionaire, the old Texan billionaire, could barely raise a smile, let alone anything else. And I'm trying to think of her name. And she copped a load of serious money. I mean, I'm not into that. I couldn't. I would rather have my integrity intact than sell my soul just to get the money. Because actually, there's no pockets in shrouds. Anna Nicole Smith. Thank you, Amalia. And GB Patriot. And Peter Sadler. Peter, are you a Theatre of the Mind virgin? There you go. Cherry popped. So families. I've said this from the beginning of when we started the channel. I said, you knock on any door, there's a story. Always. So imagine knocking on Trevor Francis's boys' front door. I mean, they weren't speaking to the mainstream media, obviously. But what do you say? Oh, your dad was a caring, understanding 90s type, was he? So if you're estranged from parents, and it's interesting that, my sisters loved my dad dearly. Daddy's girl, mummy's boy. My mum loved me, but never put me ahead of my sisters. But just that writing them out of the will, it's that action, that intention, and you just think, ooh. My mum did say to my sisters, she went with cancer in 2018. She did say to my sisters, "You'll find out how nasty he is when I'm gone." Whew. And she thought he was going to do vindictive, exactly. He's going to do whatever. So I kind of felt, money should not be the be-all and end-all, but it does ease certain things. Hang on. Terry Woodford says, apparently wedding cake has a strange effect on women. After they taste their own, they forget. Quite, Terry, quite. But imagine cutting somebody out of the will. Hang on. Winchester women with the house. Meg, I'm not quite understanding that. So just a little story. I thought I'd pass comment on Trevor Francis' son's been cut out of a £2 million will. Now, let's talk about riches. Let's talk about great riches. So, you know, multi-billionaire, multi-billionaire King Charles, not his own money. He's going to Royal Ascot. Oh, fabulous. Kate, you are a genius. Or can I say, before I get on to King Charles, so I'm emceeing yesterday, and I swear I thought of everybody in the body of the Kirk, because I was doing, you know, stuff on the microphone. Some of the time I was just like, ladies and gentlemen. But at one point I had to just remind them that in like 45 minutes or an hour or so, there was canapes and they had to do this. And I said the words, and don't forget. And I literally had to grab hold of myself and go, Jesus, don't say Battenberg. Jesus, don't say Battenberg. Whatever you do, don't say and don't forget the Battenberg. And I said, and don't forget, we're going to have a confetti. But I literally broke out in a sweat. I nearly said, and don't forget the Battenberg. So I blame you. You've corrupted me. That's what you've done. Brilliant. In the field said, emceeing, was that making cakes? And thank you, Kate. That's, oh, can you imagine? I think if I got married again, because I do like wedding cake. I do like, you know, fruit cake. But can you imagine? No, I didn't think it was Don't Forget Your Toothbrush. I remember the TV series with Chris Evans. But don't forget the Battenberg, darling. No. Let's have a ginormous Battenberg, shall we? For weeks, everybody will be pooping flowers. I'm so glad I've got an understanding congregation this evening who knows what somebody's going to go, Adrian, what's with the Battenberg thing? Maybe we should do a dedicated video. I don't know. So, King Charles, let's go on to fat fingers. Have you noticed his fingers are not so fat? So King Charles, that well-hung lesbian, he plans to... Cake Tourette, brilliant, Mick. Louise, I'm a couple more minutes and I'll be finished, man. I know you've done 2 hours of me, so that I'm very thankful for. But King Charles is going to attend Royal Ascot. Why is he going to do Royal Ascot? Well, it's all about the money, darling, mummy. And now he's doing. I just want to attend Royal Ascot because I want to honour mummy, the late Queen Elizabeth II. And I mean, I know his mum's gone, mine has, and I think about her every day in lots of different ways. Hang on, Gary, I'm going to get to that, man. So, would I be, let's honour mummy today? Yes, shall we honour mummy? Camilla, darling, should we honour mummy today? But I think she only missed one Royal Ascot in like 70 years. But I get that history will view King Charles in maybe 100 or 200 or 300 years, a bit like Henry VIII. Oh, off with the head. He was banging like a barn door in a storm, the old King Henry. He just wanted a son, carry his lineage on, and he didn't get one. It was it Queen Elizabeth? So how history, this is all about, so the Queen knew this. The Queen knew it was how history was going to view her. And I was there at a royal garden party in Holyrood in Scotland. I was working as part of the protection team. And it was very formulaic. The Queen would walk out of a particular door and all of the kind of serfs were there. And do you know, there was one year where they actually used the Queen's china, best china, in, I think it was Holyrood, because they were telling me about this. And seemingly, the heavens opened and everybody ran into the marquees and ran into the tents. And loads of people nicked loads of the Queen's china. So they just went, we can't have this. It's going to cost us millions. Plastic plates. Yeah, plastic plates. Plastic plates and plastic forks and knives. So the protection team were telling me about how the Queen was absolutely livid. She'd had her plates nicked from the royal garden party. But let me tell you what would go on in the royal garden party. So the Queen would arrive and everything was filmed. So Queen Elizabeth got this, that it was about history. It was about how history would view her. So she had everything. Hang on. Oh, thank you, Nicholas. Appreciate that. So she would walk out at an exact door, and some of her courtiers would just walk along the line saying, "Oh, the Queen's going to speak to you, and the Queen's going to speak to you, and the Queen's coming along, and she'll be there in a moment." So everything was set up for the Queen just to go, "Oh, hello, what book are we reading today?" As in, something new to talk about. Well, I'm talking to the riffraff, and everything would be filmed so that in 100 years or 500 years, whatever format it's going to be in, there will be an archive of Queen Elizabeth II day to day, and for 50, 60, 70, 80 years. It was all filmed. And I think that's wonderful. So how history is going to view King Charles, I have no idea. Simply have no idea. Thank you to Rich, and thank you to Jim Atkinson. Of course, I will mention you as legendary Battenburgers on Wednesday. Thank you. Thank you for your generosity. So King Charles knows this. He's been around Queen Elizabeth II. He knows this. He knows what the game is. He knows what the deal is. And for him to say, "I'm going to attend Royal Ascot. I've not been very well, obviously, but I'm going to Royal Ascot. What on earth should I do?" Well, don't honour the Queen. Be a king. Get a bit of backbone, man. And he knows this is not about honouring mummy. How are you, man? We're all struggling, but we've got a bit more backbone than the king. And he's got like hundreds of servants. He's got money beyond your imagination. And I get that losing mum is a terrible trauma. Lots of human beings go through it, but it is the natural way of things. But stop keeping bashing on about mummy, Charlie. So the Royal Ascot is in June, so it's going to be a real boost for ticket sales. But it's like an episode of Weekend at Bernie's, just kind of trotting people out just to get people there to pay the money. It's all about the Benjamins. And let's talk about King Charles's brother, fat lad, Andrew. Never mind Randy Andy. It's Porky Andy. Oh, Graham missed tonight's evening mass. Will defo catch next live. Well, you can watch it on the catch-up, you're wrong. So Andrew has been photographed. He's been papped. He was using a 100 grand Range Rover. I mean, just bring the jalopy round the front. Yeah, bring the basic 100 grand Range Rover. And he got blue light protection. Not red light, blue light. Oh, interesting. English bottle cap says, what's King Charles's record for attending Royal Ascot previously? I've no idea. Didn't have that to hand, but I just knew that it's about mummy. No, it's not. You're wrong. And be king. I mean, I know the crown wears heavy sometimes, and I know that William is a bit wobbly around him wearing it, but it wears heavy. But there's Porky Andy. God, blimey. So he's right, driving a 100 grand Range Rover, oh lovely, and getting blue light protection when going for a Mayfair lunch. Now as I say, I've been party to Andrew being up in Scotland, Holyrood. Yes, thank you. Just before I round off with a good story, 138 likes. Jesus, you're a tough crowd tonight. How are you, wrong-uns? Smash the likes. So, do we get to Where's Wally? I know somebody in the comments said, where is Wally? Now, she's wearing the stripy top, so she looks proper. It's blue, though. Needs to be red with a bobble hat. Yeah, big lunch. What a porker. I know. But getting all the trappings of royalty, I mean, have they just said to Andrew, right, keep your head down, we're in the brown stuff. So don't be going fraternising with anybody under 18. Who said that? Graham says, where's his willy? He won't know. He won't see it because the size of his guts he's not gonna see that unless he stands there looking in a mirror. But where's Wally? Just remember this. And I'm a tart. You know that, I'm a bit of an iconoclast and a bit of a agent provocateur. We were told April 27th. Remember? Now, Willie's been out, Big Willie style, he's been out meeting the meet and greet, meeting the unwashed. We were told that she would reappear April 27th, which is next Saturday. So, what's going on next Saturday for Wally appearing, as if by magic, or will it be an AI fake again? So, April 27th, we were told she was going to re-emerge for royal duties. I mean, I think the whole thing. Brilliant. In the field, Kate is buffering. That's brilliant. Love the comments tonight. So I don't know whether she's going to come out and go, hello, world, I'm back again. I've not been very well, but I'm back, and the kids love me, and the kids love you, and Big Willie is Big Willie style, and shall we just get on, please? I mean, what's the big reveal going to be? We kind of know, though, don't we? Yeah, who's that? Tim. She's just going to materialise like Star Trek from thin air. Can you imagine? Oh, Captain Kirk, Starship log, Stardate log, bloody 27th of April, 2024 on the SS Starship Enterprise, and bugger me, she's appeared. Oh, let's have Spock. Here, have a look at that. Do you reckon it's her, or do you think it's AI? How is Spock? Can you imagine? And finally, Esther, just a quickie, because I am a fan of a quickie. Do you know that the Labour government and the Tory beamer up Scotty Napoleon blown apart? Oh dear, was that Fred? Captain's log. Can I just say something to you? Am I the only one in the world that doesn't buy a Christmas log simply because A, the colour, B, the texture, and C, it's called a bloody Christmas log? I thought that's what you dropped off at the pool on a Christmas Day afternoon after you'd eaten too much. Surely I'm not the only one in the world that steers clear of the Christmas log. Rich, yes. Fred Barker looks like. Oh, I know. I wanted to tell you about however you use them is down to you. You're wrong 'un. But wet wipes. I mean, they are kind of emergency. Oh, yeah, Napoleon blown apart, and the taste is pretty bad too. I've never tasted it. I have never allowed, it's a bit like blue cheese. I can't allow anything with a blue vein to pass my lips. So I don't touch blue cheese. And I don't touch the Christmas log, because please, it's just wrong. Hang on a second. Andrew James says, chocolate hostage if you don't mind. That is just, you've been more entertaining than me tonight. Andrew James, yeah, got that. My mum said the same thing as you. You just can't have anything past your lips, including a blue vein. Oh yes, I was going to talk about wet wipes. Sorry. They're at it in the Pink Palace. They're at it. Seemingly, the government and Labour want to do away. They want to ban wet wipes. Brilliant. Rich says, I remember on a building site, someone wrote in felt tip, a captain's log of logs on the toilet door per people to fill in. Right, forget the wet wipes. It's a shite story anyway. I'm going to tell you about this one. I may have told you it before, but Rich has inspired me. So as a 16-year-old, I was a motor mechanic apprentice. I didn't go to university. University was for posh kids. We didn't have the money. Mind you, neither do the posh kids now. I can't even say it for laughing. They'll be 50 grand in debt. And they're in debt through no fault of their own because they just want to improve their lives. And they're in debt because the system goes, we want you in debt. So anyway, 16-year-old. I'm full of piss and vinegar because some people just, forgive my language, But I'd end up with like I'd wear overalls. So the bad lads, who were the blacksmiths and all the other mechanics, sometimes if I brassed them off, I was a bit too lippy, they'd stick a broom shank through my overalls, and then they used one of the winches in the yard to kind of winch me up 50 feet and go, right, you little shit. If you're going to do that, you can stay up there. And I was like, hang on, lads, how here, man? I'm only 16. Stop it, stop it, stop it. And it was bullying. I mean, you couldn't do it in 2024. I don't think you can get away with it. So they hoisted me up and left me up there for ages, like in the morning. And then they let me down and they went, right, we're going to teach you a lesson. I said, oh, are you? Yeah, we're going to teach you a lesson. So about, I don't know, 11:45 or something, they stripped me naked, stark bollock naked. And they tied me down. We had a kind of wood pallet or something out the front. And it was a main thoroughfare, so the buses and everything on the school run. And so they tied me down, and all the women with their kids were going past on the bus going, oh, Amelia, don't look. Oh, no, Amelia. No, darling. Camilla, no, don't look. No, there's a naked man. So I thought, right. So anyway, they untied me because I said, look, somebody's going to report this and the cops are going to end up doing you. And I thought, right, what can I do? So in the depot, because I was working on plant at that time, in the depot in Hortonley Spring, if anybody used to work there, if anybody worked there, then I'm going to hear the truth. So I thought, right, I'm having you. I'm not. This is unacceptable. I've been traumatized up on a winch 50 foot up with barely a broom handle through my overalls. I'm getting you. And now you parade me naked in front of all the local women and the kids. No, not having that. So I went up not far from where the depot was a chemist. And I went up there and I said, have you got any have you got any liquid laxative? I'm a bit bunged up. And he said, well, let me have a look. I've got, how bad is it? Well, I haven't been for a few days. I'm just a bit backed up. And he said, well, we've got this one and we've got that one. I said, I'll tell you what, I'll take the bigger bottle and I'll take 2 bottles. Are you sure? Now, can I just ask you what you got? Look, I'm constipated and I can't. I haven't for a few days. I'm just backed up. Yes, Stuart, I did. Well, I tell you. So I went and I bought these 2 bottles of laxative from the chemist up the road. And I come back. Now, in the depot, there was one big bubbling urn, an urn of water. So there was hot water on tap. And so I poured these 2 bottles into the urn before it was 12 o'clock. So they were going for the lunch. So I poured this liquid laxative into this urn that everybody was going to drink out of at lunchtime. I then went into because it was only gents' toilets, there was no women working on site. So I went into the toilets and I was as skinny as a rake. I mean, I was literally 5 stone wringing wet when I left school at 16. I was proper skinny, but I was skinny enough to get into the toilets. I used to call them trap 1, 2, and 3. I used to get in the toilets, and what I did was I barricaded the door so nobody could get in, and then I come out under the door because there was just enough for me to get out, and I went into trap 2. Dun, 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 boarded it up with thick wood and tacks and nails, and then I got into trap 3, but I left it open. So literally everybody had lunch, and there must have been, I don't know, 30 or 40 guys on site at that particular day, and they all took their teas. And I don't know why they didn't work it out. I don't know why they didn't work out that there was a really odd taste to the water. Maybe they didn't work it. So I'm just sitting there, eating my sandwich, eating my bait, and watching everybody go to this urn and take a cupful and put tea bags in or a cup of coffee or whatever, and then drink it. I didn't know how long it was going to take to work, But I only had to wait about 45 minutes, 50 minutes. I don't know, it must have been strong. And literally, all these men started running for the toilets. And there was all kinds of hell going on in the toilets because I'd blocked up two of the traps. There was only one trap and everybody needed to be in it. It wasn't kind of go for a pee or anything. They literally, their bowels were opening and they were all screaming, let me in, let me in, let me in. And I was like, oh, this has gone too far. This has really gone too far. How are they going to work out who it was or is? So I just sat there and I thought I'd play along. So I went in the toilet, like, let me in, you're wrong, man. Me backside's going to explode. Let me in. So because I was acting, they thought I was same as them. And they got it. They literally all had the runs that afternoon. And I think it got to about 3 o'clock. Nobody else wanted a cuppa. And I thought, well, if I do anything, if I drain the urn, the boiling urn, they're going to know it's me. So I've just got to kind of back off and just not say anything. And to this day, which is 50 years ago, hang on, no, I'm not that old, can't be, 45 years old. Anyway, so I'm not telling the Andy Glover tale yet. So nobody knew. Nobody knew. There was one, the apprentice above me said, have you done something to the water? And I was like, what would I do with the water? Don't know, there's something going on. But everybody's got the runs. I said, me too. And he was like, there's just something going on and I can't quite work it out. And I was like, oh, me neither. I mean, I can tell you more stories that are as brutal as that, but it was the best fun you could ever have with your clothes on. And I was a proper 16. How I got out of that alive, I'll never know. Anyway. If anybody from and the depot doesn't exist anymore, it disappeared about 20 years ago. And I think all the boys that were kind of the mechanics above me, because I was just a runt at 16, those in their 20s and 30s, they may have shuffled off. But liquid Battenberg that day. Kate, you genius. It definitely didn't smell right. It just, well, it smelled right going in because nobody figured. But coming out, we had to get the drainers in. I'm kind of letting out too much here just in case there is anybody watching. So the drainers had to come in because I thought it was the drains. The smell was the drains. And I was hiding behind massive big steamrollers and big tankers, just wetting myself, laughing so hard. But, you know, did I ever tell you the time? Oh, God. I'll tell you another time about the time somebody did something and he really upset me. So I did the same thing. I just went up to the chemist and I bought a box of tampons. And we all had our... if this upsets you, then I'm sorry. But it is true. And what I did was I unwrapped it and put it in his bait, put it in his sandwiches. And he kind of got to lunchtime and he kind of opened his bag. He's like, oh, yeah, bastards. Who's done this? Nobody had meant it. Because what he didn't realise was I'd wound him up knowing that he might work out who it was. So I put one sort of around his collar. So it was dangled down the back. And at the end of the day, at like 4 o'clock, he was going home on the bus. And it was quite a long... about 45 minutes on the bus. And he went home with the tampon dangling down the back of his jacket. And he got in and his wife went, oh my God, what's that on your jacket? And he was like, what do you mean, what's that on my jacket? There's no on my jacket, woman. What are you? She says, you've got a tampon dangling down the back of your jacket. He was like, behave. Takes his jacket off and he's going, oh my God, who? And I didn't get done for it because he didn't work it out who it was. I mean, we wet ourselves laughing. in the depot. But it was carnage. It literally was carnage. Every day, it was a survival of the fittest. If you got a kick in, you got a kick in. If you didn't, you would put something in their sandwich and they would have to eat tampon and cheese or something. So it was... oh, I had the best fun. I've told you the one about... no, I won't. I'm not going to tell you anymore. Honestly, I need to go to bed. No, it's not an offer. You're wrong. I'm just... the moderator. I've had to go open a second bottle of wine. Just check for tampons. Or check for liquid laxative, one of the two. Could be Battenberg, could be worse. So, please, if you haven't watched it already, have a look at Billboard Chris. He's probably looking at this going. And have a look. Billboard Chris is brilliant. He's just an immense interviewee. Has facts. Next live Wednesday. But I may do something Tuesday. I haven't decided yet. Depends what trouble I get into on St. George's Day. Can you imagine? I'll think of something, though. And don't forget to smash the likes, you're wrong. There's like 200 people and 150 likes. Oh, blimey, you are a tough audience. And thank you for your indulgence tonight. Some of these comments of... no, I haven't asked Chris about the Battenberg. He'd be like, Adrian, what have you been... Have you been on something, Adrian? Have you been drinking the cooking sherry again? But thank you all for your indulgence. Tonight's been brilliant. Your comments have been wonderful. I'm looking forward to reading those and wetting myself laughing over the next couple of days at them. We'll be live Wednesday. And whatever you do, thank you to everyone that's saying thank you. But whatever you do, don't forget the Battenberg!